sets out to commend sensuality almost as a virtue. It encourages and indeed advocates coarseness and vulgarity of thought and language. You may think that it must tend to deprave the mind, certainly of some, and you may think of many of those persons who are likely to purchase it at the price of 3 shillings and 6pence. You may think that one of the ways in which you can test the book is to ask yourselves, once you have read it, this question: would you approve of your young sons, your young daughters, because girls can read as well as boys, reading this book? Is it a book that you would even wish your wife or servants to read? Well, let us turn now to the book itself.
Well, I'd actually read the book years ago. We glanced through it. Ray, my first husband, picked up a copy in Paris. Tell you the truth, I wasn't really interested then. Not that interested in other people's sex lives. I was too involved in our own. Ray's and mine. Then?
It is, if I may summarize, the story of Lady Chatterley, a young woman whose husband is wounded in the First World War, paralyzed from the waist downwards, so that he is unable to have any sexual intercourse. It describes how this woman, deprived of sex from her husband, satisfies her sexual desires, a sex-starved girl, how she satisfies that starvation with a particularly sensual man who happens to be her husband's gamekeeper. There are, I think, 13 episodes of sexual intercourse described in the greatest detail. The curtains are never drawn. One follows them not only into the bedroom, but into bed. But that is not strictly accurate, members of the jury, because one starts in my lady's boudoir, then one goes to the floor of a hut in the forest. Then we see them again in the forest, in the undergrowth, in the pouring rain. Both of them stark naked and dripping with raindrops. Then in the keeper's cottage, first in the evening on the hearthrug, then in the morning in bed, and then we move to Bloomsbury and we have it all over again in the attic. When you read these passages, you may well think that sex is dragged in at every conceivable opportunity. And you may think that the story is little more than padding. Now we come to the language. The book abounds in bawdy conversation. These matters are not normally voiced in this court, but when it forms the whole subject matter of the prosecution, then we cannot avoid voicing them. The word fuck or fucking occurs no less than 30 times. Cunt, 14 times. Balls, 13 times. Shit and arse, 6 times apiece. Cock, 4 times. Piss, 3 times, and so on. Lady Chatterley and the gamekeeper are, you may think, little more than bodies which continuously have sexual intercourse with each other. You will see, for example, on page 7...
My Lord, I object. The Act says the book must be judged as a whole. To consider particular passages without having read the whole book would be to prejudge the issue.
Your Lordship, it was not my intention to prejudice or inflame the jury's minds before they read the book.
No one is suggesting that, Mr. Griffith-Jones, but the book is charged as a whole, and perhaps the better course is for the jury to read the book first, before hearing evidence about the whole book or any particular passages in it.
As your lordship pleases.
Well, the question now then is the reading of the book, is it not? How shall that be done?
Perhaps the jury should take the book home, my lord?
I think not. I think they should read it here. I am sorry, members of the jury. I don't want to condemn you to any kind of discomfort, but if you were to take the book home, there might be distractions. You should read the book through in the jury room, taking as much time as you need. I suppose it might take a day or two, then we'll all come back here and proceed with the case.
All rise.
Help yourselves to copies of the book and make yourselves comfortable. The lunch break will be at 12:30.
This is a bit of all right. Beats working, eh?
Could I remind you there's to be no discussion until after you've completed your reading.
Ours is essentially a tragic age, so we refuse to take it tragically. The cataclysm has happened.
This was Constance Chatterley's position. The war had brought the roof down over her head. She had married Clifford Chatterley when he was home on leave. They had a month's honeymoon, then he went back to Flanders to be shipped over to England again 6 months later, more or less.
He was not really downcast. He had a bath chair with a small motor attachment.
I'm sorry we can't have a son, she said.
It would be almost a good thing if you had a child by another man.
Connie, this is the new gamekeeper, Mallows.
She came out of the wood on the north side. The keeper's cottage looked uninhabited. It was so silent and alone. She went round the side of the house, turned the corner, and stopped. In the little yard, 2 paces beyond her, the man was washing himself, utterly unaware. He was naked to the hips, his velveteen breeches slipping down over his slender loins.
Didn't know where to look when he was saying those words.
Some people thought it was funny.
I did laugh, I couldn't help it. It's just, I don't know. Never heard anyone say words like that in a posh voice.
It was the absurdity of it.
Yeah.
Exactly. The place for words like that is the gutter, not in court. I don't see why he felt he had to say them out loud. We all know what they all are, after all. I call it rank bad taste.
I suppose he felt he was doing his duty, like.
I think he was enjoying himself no end, like a little boy saying peep-ho belly bum draws. So what do we all think of the book so far?
We're not supposed to discuss it until we've finished it.
Oh, come on. Of course they know we're going to talk about it.
Well, she certainly puts herself up out of it, doesn't she? Lady C. 2 Germans, that Michael's bloke, and we haven't even got to the gamekeeper yet. I mean, is that what the aristocracy's really supposed to be like?
In my experience, yes.
Well, I suppose they've got the leisure time for it.
Exactly.
What do you think of it?
I'm rather enjoying it so far. Although he does make an awful song and dance about it. It's only sex, after all, isn't it? One evening she escaped after tea. It was late and she fled across the park like one who fears to be called back. I'd love to see the chicks, she said, panting, glancing shyly at the keeper, almost unaware of him. I'd love to touch them.
The man standing above her laughed and crouched down and put his hand with quiet confidence slowly into the coop. And slowly, softly, with sure, gentle fingers, he felt among the old bird's feathers and drew out a faintly peeping chick in his closed hand. There, he said.
She took the drab little thing between her hands, and there it stood, on its impossible little stalks of legs, its atom of balancing life trembling through its almost weightless feet into Connie's hands.
Suddenly he saw a tear fall on her wrist. Her face was averted, and she was crying blindly. His heart melted suddenly, and he put out his hand and laid his fingers on her knee. "You shouldn't cry," he said softly. He laid his hand on her shoulder, and softly, gently, it began to travel down the curve of her back. Blindly, with a blind, stroking motion to the curve of her loins, and there his hand, softly, softly stroked the curve of her flank, in the blind, instinctive caress.
Funny old way to spend a day.
Yeah, I say. Better than work, though.
I'm Helena, by the way.
Keith.
Pleased to meet you, Keith. So what's the work you're not doing today?
Invoice clerk for a wholesale grocer's.
Don't you like it?
I hate it. It's the same thing over and over again. Adding up, adding up, adding up, and the supervisor comes around and checks them all on an adding machine. It's all pointless. I'll replace this all machine in a year or two. I can't wait.
What'll you do then?
Don't know. Maybe I'll retrain as a gamekeeper.
Well, it does sound like rather a good job. Are you married, Keith?
I am, as it happens, yeah. Are you?
Yes and no. In the process of divorcing. Just waiting for my papers to come through.
Ah, right.
My life's in sort of a limbo at the moment. No proper home. I'm living in a little flat over a shop, just around the corner, actually.
Oh, yeah? I'll turn off here.
Are you in a hurry, Keith?
No, not especially.
There's something I'd like to show you. Something I saw this morning. It's just down here.
All right.
Look. Chicks. Open your hand. Don't you like it?
I don't know. I don't want to hurt you.
You won't hurt it.
But what is this?
You know what it is.
No, I better get going.
I thought we might have a cup of tea. You haven't got time.
No, I think you know, I better get going.
Okay, then. See you in court tomorrow.
Yeah, see you tomorrow.
So what was it like then?
It was all right.
Did you get your dinner?
Yeah,
What was it like?
it was all right, not bad.
So did you get on a case?
Yeah.
Was it a murder?
No, nothing like that.
What then?
We're not supposed to discuss it.
Oh, come on, you can tell me.
It's about a book. Lady Chatterley's Lover. We've got to read it and decide if it should be banned.
Lady Chatterley's Lover? That's supposed to be the most disgusting book out. And you're reading it.
Yeah. The judge won't let the case start till we've all read it.
So I've been hard at work all day and you've been sitting in the Old Bailey reading a dirty book.
Yeah, that's right.
What's it like?
It's all right. I like it as it happens.
Dirty bugger. What? What's the matter?
Dunno. Nothing.
That's not quite what we were after.
You know what it is.
He held her fast, and she felt his urgency.
She saw his eyes, tense and brilliant, fierce,
Not loving,
not loving.
but her will had
For a
left her.
moment, he was still inside her, turgid there and quivering. Then, as he began to move in the sudden helpless orgasm, there awoke in her new strange thrills, rippling inside her. Rippling, rippling, rippling. Like a flapping overlapping of soft flames, soft as feathers, running to the points of brilliance. Exquisite, exquisite, and melting her all molten inside.
He subsided too and lay utterly still, unknowing, while her grip on him slowly relaxed and she lay inert, and they lay and knew nothing, not even of each other, both lost. It's good when it's like that, he said. Most folks live their whole life through and they never know it. I missed you.
Well, now you've caught me.
We could have that cup of tea there if you wanted to.
You sure you're not wanted at home?
No, it's all right. Sylvia doesn't go home from work till 6:30.
Okay, then.
Members of the jury, you have heard from my learned friend the nature of the case for the prosecution. He has told you in general terms what the book is about. He's told you it is full of repeated descriptions of sexual intercourse. And so it is. He's told you it contains many four-letter words. And so it does.
Sorry, too many things.
You may be asking yourselves, why should any publisher want to publish such a book? Well, Alan Lane, Sir Alan Lane, as he is now, founded Penguin Books so that ordinary people could buy all the great books in our literature at a reasonable cost. The whole of Shakespeare, the whole of Shaw, and now the whole of Lawrence. Few people will disagree that Lawrence is one of the greatest writers of this century. And Lady Chatterley's Lover is an essential novel if we are to properly understand what Lawrence had to say. And to properly understand Lady Chatterley's Lover, we must be able to read it, unexpurgated, to read the book Lawrence actually wrote. It is a book about England, about our society. Lawrence wanted to say something about our society in this book. He thought the ills in our society would not be cured by political action, that the remedy lay in the restoration of right relations between human beings, particularly in the union, the physical union between man and woman.
Are you all right, Keith? You're not regretting it, I hope.
No. I'm just... I've never done anything like this before.
Dear, have I corrupted you?
No. No, I didn't mean that.
I thought about doing it with you yesterday and today.
Did you?
Of course I did, couldn't you tell?
I thought it was just me.
I know.
I've never met anyone like you before.
You don't know me yet, Keith.
Yeah, I do. In one way, I do.
Yes. Yes, you do.
Could I see you? All of you.
Yes, of course. You could have before, it's just that we seem to be in rather a hurry. Help me. Oh, I feel shy. Are you? You're beautiful.
In here!
What are you doing in here with the door locked?
Nothing! Just having a wash as it happens.
Having a wash? What's that all about?
I just felt like it. It's stuffy in that jewellery room, stuffy, sweaty, you know, everyone's smoking.
And reading that dirty book.
Yeah, well, by the time you come out, you feel dirty.
You've got very particular, haven't you?
I've always been particular.
I'm not complaining. Kiss. Oh, Keith Gray, he's a funny one. He's got a face like a pickled onion, got a nose like a squashed tomato, and legs like mashed.
Oi.
You do smell lovely and clean. I'm doing your favourite tonight.
Yeah?
I call Sir Alan Lane. Sir Alan, when you founded Penguin Books, what was the idea you had in mind?
My idea was to produce a book which would sell for the price of 10 cigarettes. For people like myself who left school at 16 or earlier, my idea was it would be another form of education.
And what about this particular book?
We wanted to round off our D.H. Lawrence collection. Very important writer, very important book. I felt it had to be done.
Did you consider publishing an expurgated version?
No. All our books are published as the author wrote them. I wouldn't consider doing it in any other way.
Thank you, Sir Alan.
Sir Alan, I have read a newspaper report, in the Manchester Guardian to be precise, in which you express an opinion that Lady Chatterley's Lover is no great novel. Was that your view?
No, it was not. As I said, I think it is a very important novel.
And you don't recall ever expressing any other view?
No, I do not. I do remember saying I might go to prison for publishing it. And I am prepared to go to prison if the case should go against us, because I am sure it is quite right to publish it.
No further questions.
My lord, I want to make clear that calling witnesses to the literary merit of this book is not in any sense an admission that the book is obscene.
That is understood.
I call Mr. Graham Huff. You are lecturer in English and Fellow of Christ's College, Cambridge, and you are the author of The Dark Sun, a study of D.H. Lawrence.
That's right.
Mr. Huff, would you tell us something of Lawrence's place in English literature?
He's the most important novelist of this century and one of the greatest novelists of any century. I don't think that's seriously disputed.
And where would you place this book?
Well, I don't think it's the best of his novels, but I don't think it's the least good either.
It has been said by my learned friend that sex is dragged in at every opportunity and that the plot is little more than padding. If that were true, would it be a serious criticism of the book?
If it were true, it would be, but in my view, it's utterly false. And the sexual passages may be the heart of the book, but they only occupy some 30 pages in a book of 300 pages. And the book is about much more than a series of sexual acts.
And what about the four-letter words?
Well, in Lawrence's view, there is no proper language to speak of sexual matters. He is trying to redeem the traditional words, now considered to be obscene, and use them in an entirely serious context. I don't myself think he's successful, but that's what Lawrence was trying to do.
Thank you.
You have told us, Mr. Huff, that this is not Lawrence's best book. Do you know of the writer Catherine Ann Porter?
She's a distinguished American short story writer.
Just so. This is what she wrote about Lady Chatterley's Lover. A dreary, sad performance with some passages of unintentional, hilarious low comedy. One scene, at least, simply beyond belief in a book written with such inflamed apostolic solemnity. What do you think of that judgment?
Obviously, I disagree with it.
She goes on to say, this is the fevered daydream of a dying man, sitting under his umbrella pines in Italy, indulging his sexual fantasies. Might this not be, in fact, the fevered daydream of a dying man?
Well, Lawrence wasn't dying when he wrote this book. He died some 2 years after its publication. He was ill when he wrote the book.
Thank you. Now, would you agree that a good book by a good writer, generally speaking, should not repeat things again and again? It's a tiresome habit, is it not?
Not necessarily. I mean, repetition can be used to great literary and emotional effect. There's a great deal of it in the Bible, for instance.
I'm talking about this book at the moment. Have you a copy of it there?
Oh, yes.
Could you look at page 177? I will read it to you, if the court will forgive my miserable attempt to pronounce the local dialect. Thou'rt good cunt, though, aren't ta? Best bit o' cunt left on earth, when ta likes, when thou'rt willin'. What is cunt? She said. And doesn't ta know? Cunt. I need not go on reading, just glance down the page. Cunt appears, fuck appears, cunt appears, fuck appears, all in the space of about 12 lines. Is that a realistic conversation, even between the gamekeeper and the baronet's wife? Is this a good piece of writing?
Well, I don't think this passage is successful. I can see what he's trying to do.
I'm not asking you what he's trying to do. Is it a good piece of writing?
Well, I think it's a failure.
You agree with me in this, then, that in this book of such high merit, there is at least one passage of very low merit?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Huff.
Well, he made mincemeat out of him. Mr. Huff did seem to be on the defensive, rather. He left him in tatters. No contest.
Oh, I think you should have stood up for that passage. It's a playful sort of conversation, isn't it? Between two lovers who know each other very well by this time. He's teasing her. He's making a thing about the class difference, and she's playing up to it. Don't you think? And when she says, what is, you know, she's playing a game. Of course she knows what it is, really.
But a lady would never say that word.
I think she might. It's the middle classes that are prudish about the four-letter words. The aristocracy use them just as freely as the lower classes, in my experience.
There you are.
Well, I don't like having my nose rubbed in it.
What a curious thing to say. It's only a book, after all. I mean, books can't harm you, can they?
I think that's what we're here to decide. About this particular book, I mean.
Yes. I suppose we are.
Miss Gardner, you are reader in Renaissance literature at Oxford University. What do you think of D.H. Lawrence?
He's one of the greatest writers of the 20th century.
You are not, I think, an admirer of this particular book.
I think it's a remarkable book. I don't think it's a wholly successful novel, although I think certain passages of it are amongst the greatest things that he ever wrote.
It's been said in court that the four-letter words form the whole subject matter for the prosecution, and that the words fuck or fucking occur not less than 30 times. Now, what, in your view, is the relation of the four-letter words in this book to its literary merit?
I don't think any words are disgusting or obscene in themselves. It depends on the context. And I would say that by the end of the book, Lawrence goes very far to redeem this word and makes one feel that it is the only word that the character could use. And by the time one gets to the last page, one feels that this word has taken on a great depth of meaning.
You said that certain passages are some of the greatest things that Lawrence wrote. Which passages did you have in mind?
Some of the passages which describe the sexual act, and some of the passages in which the characters talk about sexual relations between men and women.
Including four-letter words?
Yes. I think Lawrence succeeds far beyond expectation in communicating an experience of great importance and great value, which very few other writers have really attempted with such courage and devotion.
Thank you.
Mr. Griffith Jones?
No questions, Your Honor.
So, she liked the dirty bits best. Miss Helen Gardner, eh? Wonder what she knows about it. Must be more to her than meets the eye.
And your friend, Mr. Griffith Jones, has written it speechless.
Well, I'm not surprised. A whole bird like that sticking up for the dirty bits.
They're not dirty bits.
Oh, I beg your pardon. What would you call them then?
You know what she said in the book? I can't remember how she put it.
She said, those passages communicate an experience of great importance, and very few writers have even attempted it.
Yeah, what's the point of that? I mean, we all know what it's like. What's the point in going on about it? Except to get people feeling fruity. Excuse me. I call them dirty bits because that is what they are.
Sex doesn't have to be dirty.
Oh, pardon me, Vicar.
I mean, that's the whole thing what he's on about in the book.
I stand corrected.
Fancy a breath of fresh air.
All right.
Well,
Horrible man. I liked it when you told him off.
I didn't have the words to do it properly. I just felt like smacking him on the nose.
Oh, I think people knew what you meant.
Well, she was good, that woman. Miss Helen Gardner.
It was brave of her. Of course people are going to say, what does she know about it? An old spinster like that. A blue stocking.
Yeah, I thought that too.
I liked what you said. Were you thinking about you and me?
Yeah. And them in the book. I know the first time me and you talked, and you said, it's only just sex, isn't it? I remember thinking that sounded so sophisticated.
Oh, I was just trying to be smart.
Because it's never only sex, though, is it? I mean, it's not really something you can say it's only about. There's always more to it than that. Shakes you up. Turns you inside out. Sometimes.
Yes.
Mrs. Bennett, you're a fellow of Girton College, you teach young people and so on, you've had sons and daughters of your own. What view do you think this book puts forward about marriage?
That it should be a complete relationship, including the physical.
And that one party in the marriage can go off and have affairs just as she likes?
Lawrence believed that if a marriage was a complete sham, then the marriage vows could be broken.
Oh, I see. But in fact, he shows the woman breaking her marriage vows without any compunction at all, without even telling her husband, doesn't he? And isn't that indeed what Lawrence himself did? He ran off with his friend's wife, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
And it's just this type of behavior, is it not, that's depicted in this book?
You mean that
I mean a man running off with another man's wife. The whole book is about that subject, is it not? Adultery, infidelity, without a hint that there might be something wrong in the act of adultery, without a hint that there might be something dishonest, something cruel about infidelity.
If you put it
Thank
like
you,
that,
Mrs. Bennet.
then...
Mrs. Bennet, it is clear from the book that the husband told her to go and have a child by another man.
Yes. And I would like to add, respecting Lawrence's own conduct, that his own marriage lasted the whole of his life.
What's the matter?
Nothing.
Don't you like it? I thought you liked rissoles.
I do like rissoles. I was just thinking.
Thinking what? Now go on. I like to know what thoughts are going on in the great brain.
I haven't got a great brain. Sometimes I think I haven't even got a brain at all.
Well, that proves it, doesn't it, thinking that? It's a deep thought. I don't think deep thoughts like that. I just think thoughts like what we're going to have for supper. What were you thinking about?
Well, I was thinking, you know, Derek's Lawrence. He ran off with his friend's wife.
I'm not surprised what I've heard about him.
And then they got married. Stayed married till he died.
Glad to hear it.
Call the Bishop of Woolwich.
Bishop, what, if any, would you say are the moral or ethical values of this book?
Lawrence didn't have a Christian view of sex, and the sexual relationship depicted in the book is not one that I would regard as ideal. But what I think is clear is that what Lawrence is trying to do is to portray the sex act as something essentially sacred. Archbishop William Temple once...
Just a moment, Bishop. I just want to get this right. He was trying to portray the sex relation...
as something essentially sacred.
Yes. I thought that was it. Go on.
I was about to quote Archbishop William Temple. He once said that Christians didn't make jokes about sex for the same reason that they didn't make jokes about Holy Communion. Not that it is sordid, but because it is sacred. And I think that is how Lawrence saw it.
I see.
It has been suggested that Lawrence places upon a pedestal promiscuous and adulterous intercourse.
That seems to me a distorted way of looking at it. If the jury read the last 2 pages, for example, there is a most moving advocacy of chastity. And I think the effect of the book as a whole is against rather than for promiscuity.
Bishop, are you asking the jury to accept that this book is a valuable work on ethics?
It doesn't set out to be a work on ethics, but it does have ethical values.
Is it, in your view, a book which Christians ought to read?
Yes, I think it is.
no further questions.
Well, I don't call him much of a bishop.
Anything like it in my life. The man's obviously some cranky fellow travelling toady to the intelligentsia. I don't know where to find him. There must be at least 24 bishops who wouldn't give that book house room. I don't mind telling you, I'm getting sick of it. This parade of know-alls who, one after another, tie themselves in knots, trying to tell us that what is obviously a dirty book is something every boy and girl should read.
What's you thinking?
I don't know. I think maybe we should stop doing this.
You're not tired of me already?
No. Christ, no. But, you know, Sylvia, I don't want to hurt her.
You don't have to. What she doesn't know can't hurt her, can it?
Suppose not.
What's she like, Sylvia?
I've known her so long it's hard for me to say. She's pretty. You're younger than me. We were going out together when she was 14 and I was 15.
Childhood sweetheart?
Yeah, if you like.
Do you have good sex with her?
Yeah, you know, it's all right.
Sorry, you don't have to answer me. It's none of my business.
Yeah. It's fine, but, you know, I think maybe we had our best moments a long time ago. Maybe even before we did it properly. It was so exciting, all that getting to know each other, all that wrestling, getting to first base, second base, third base. You made me struggle for it. But it was like, I don't know, discovering hidden treasure, all bit by bit, each bit better than the last bit. All that went on for months. Years.
Sounds nice. An old-fashioned courtship.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, I suppose. Not like him and her in the book.
Or you and me.
No. What about you? What was he like, your husband?
Ray. I suppose you'd have to call him a charming bastard. He was married to someone else when I met him. Couldn't resist him. He was very good at all that. Very good at sex as well. Not very good at paying the bills, not very good at telling the truth. I had a lot of fun with him. Actually, I adored him. It took me years to realise he was a cold-hearted bastard who didn't really give a damn about anyone but himself. Thank God we never had a child.
Did he go with other women?
I should say so. Mind you, I had affairs too. He didn't mind because he didn't care. I pretended to be happy, even to myself, I think. And then I stopped pretending.
So you're not happy?
Oh, I've got nothing to complain about. I'm over him now, much better off without him. I don't even hate him anymore.
Am I the first since you split up with him?
No. Best, though. We're not going to stop this, are we? Not yet, anyway.
No. I don't think I could.
Nor me.
Would you tell us a little about yourself?
I was born into the working class in Leeds. I went to the local elementary school and won a scholarship to grammar school, and then went on to university where I took an English degree.
A background rather like Lawrence's own, then.
Lawrence didn't go to university. He went to a teacher's training college, and perhaps there's something particular about a Nottinghamshire mining village upbringing. We're not all the same as working class lads, you know.
No, indeed. And you're now a senior lecturer in English at Leicester University. And you lecture on Lawrence to the young people under your care.
Yes, I do.
This book, Lady Chatterley's Lover, has been described in court as little more than vicious indulgence in sex and sensuality. Is that a valid description of the book?
Not at all. It's not vicious. It is highly virtuous and, if anything, puritanical.
Did you say virtuous and puritanical?
Yes, sir, I believe it's a very moral book. In fact, you could say that the physical, sexual side is not that important to Lawrence. I know that sounds paradoxical. What Lawrence is interested in is a relationship which is, in the deeper sense, spiritual. It's a kind of sacrament for him.
So what exactly do you mean by saying this is a moral book?
I mean that the overwhelming impression I get as a careful reader is of the enormous reverence which must be paid by one human being to another in a physical relationship. These relationships are not matters in which we use each other like animals. This spirit seems to me to pervade the book throughout, so I would call the book highly moral, not at all degrading of sex.
And the four-letter words have been referred to. What is your view on them?
They are part of the normal discourse of many people, and not only working-class people. They're used very freely indeed in everyday life. 50 yards from the court this morning, I heard a man say fuck 3 times as he passed me. He was speaking to himself. He said, fuck it, fuck it, fuck it, as he went past. If you worked on a building site, as I have, you will hear it over and over again. The word is used in contempt, of course, as a term of abuse. Lawrence wanted to re-establish its proper use.
Which is?
As the word for the sexual act. We have no word in English for it. That is neither a long abstraction or an evasive euphemism, and we're constantly running away from it or dissolving into dots in a passage like this. Lawrence wanted us to say, this is what one does. In a simple, ordinary way, one fucks. With no sniggering or dirt, one fucks.
I wonder, Mr. Hoggart, do you belong to that body of people who oppose all prosecutions for obscenity?
Not at all, but I do resent the fact that ordinary men and women should be prevented from reading a serious book by a great writer who has something of importance to say.
I see. Now, you described this book as highly virtuous, if not puritanical. That is your genuine and considered view, is it?
Yes, it is.
Well, perhaps I've spent my whole life under a misapprehension of the meaning of the word puritanical. Can you enlighten me?
Yes. Many people live their lives under the same misapprehension. This is the way that language decays. In England today, the word has been extended to mean someone who's against anything pleasurable, particularly sex. Its true meaning is somebody who belongs to the tradition of British Puritanism, and the defining feature of that is an intense sense of responsibility for one's conscience. In this sense, the book is puritanical.
I'm obliged to you for that lecture.
In fact, one could say
Mr. Hoggart, I don't want to stop you if you have something further to say, but the question I want to ask you is quite a simple one to answer without another lecture. We are not at Leicester University at the moment. Now, I want to see more precisely what you describe as puritanical. Would you look at page 222 of the book? Lady Chatterley is drying her hair in front of the fire after one of their bouts, when he took her, and I quote, like an animal. He stroked her tail with his hand, long and subtly taking in the curves and the globefulness. Thou's got such a nice tail on thee. It's the nicest woman's arse as is. And every bit of it is woman sure as nuts. Thou'rt not one of them button-arsed lasses as should be lads, arter. Thou's got a real soft sloping bottom on thee as a man loves in his guts. Is that a passage you would describe as puritanical?
Yes, puritanical and poignant and tender.
All the while he spoke, he exquisitely stroked the rounded tail till it seemed as if a slippery sort of fire came from it into his hand, and his fingertips touched the two secret openings to her body, time after time, with a soft little brush of fire. Is that puritanical?
Yes, indeed it is.
I see. And if thou shits, and if thou pisses, I'm glad I don't want a woman as couldna shit nor piss. Is that puritanical?
Yes, it is.
Here thou shits, and here thou pisses, and I lay my hand on 'em both, and I like thee for it, I like thee for it. Thou's got a proper woman's arse, proud of itself, it's none ashamed of itself, this isna. He laid his hand close and firm over her secret places in a kind of close greeting, and that is puritanical, is it?
In my view, it is puritanical, and poignant, and tender.
Do you feel puritanical?
Not really. Tell you the truth, I didn't have the faintest idea what he was talking about, that man.
He was saying that sex is like a sacrament, or it was for Lawrence and for Mellis and Lady Chatterley.
So I've got to do with Lawrence anyway. The bishop said that Lawrence wasn't even a Christian.
I think he worshipped his penis. I think most men do, actually.
The stuff you come out with.
It's true, isn't it?
I don't worship my penis.
No, but you follow it where it leads, don't you?
Is that what happened with me and you?
Isn't it? Look, it's staring. Think it overheard us. John Thomas. That chap was wrong, wasn't he? Lawrence wasn't all for plain speaking, not altogether. Mellors is a pet name for it. His penis is John Thomas and her vagina is Lady Jane. When he weaves flowers through her pubic hair, and she winds creeping Jenny around his penis. Do you like me to do that for you?
If you like.
I think that we should try out everything they try out, don't you?
All right. Not many forests around here, though.
We'll have to improvise. Meanwhile... Do you like this?
Yeah. Sylvie won't do anything like this. She says it's dirty.
Poor Sylvia. I have to write her a little note. Tell her what she's missing.
what he said in the book.
The world's so full of other people.
Old Parker was in a right mood today.
Was he?
Yeah, taking it out on everyone. Just 'cause he's the boss, he thinks he can carry on like a 2-year-old in a tantrum. Nasty old bugger.
Yeah. What can you do,
Oh, I'll tell you what I'll do. I look at the clock and I think in 2 hours' time, or whatever it is, I'll be home with someone who's so much nicer than you old bugger. Oh, look at you. I was only paying you a compliment.
Well, who'd have thought it?
What?
You and I together in bed like this.
And all thanks to D.H. Lawrence.
Actually, I've decided I'm not that keen on D.H. Lawrence or his gamekeeper.
Why's that then?
Because he's always telling her things, going on at her. This is how life ought to be. This is what's wrong with women. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. And when they make love, it's always him in charge.
I thought that's what you all like.
Well, you're wrong. Anyway, you're not like that.
I might be, given a chance.
I don't think so. And you've got a sense of humour. When you really think about it, it's not a great book at all. It's a lot of preaching and bullying and wishful thinking.
Got you going now.
Yes, I know. And I'm so ashamed. Anyway, it wasn't the book that got me going. It was you, with your bedroom eyes. I'd never have thought those wicked thoughts about any of those other men.
What's so special about me?
Oh, now he's fishing for compliments. But I'll tell you, it's your innocence.
I'm not that innocent.
Yes, you are. You're innocent like an animal. There's no guile about you. And from the first look, I could tell that you really want it. All of it. I don't think most men do. They just pretend they do. Or they really want something else. Power, usually. To get you where they want you.
So I'm different, am I?
Yes, you are. You make me happy.
I call Mr. Francis Canea. Call Mr. John Connell. Miss Sarah Beryl Jones. Mr. Norman Stevens. I call Dr. James Kennedy. Mr. Francis Williams. Call Mr. Anne Scott Jones. Mr. Raymond Williams. Or Mr. C.K. Young. Or Mr. Ian Forster. Dr. C.V. Beckwood. I call Sir Stanley Unwin. Professor Kenneth Muir. Mr. Cecil Day Lewis. Call Miss Dilys Kyle. Mr. Walter Allen. Call Mr. Roy Jeffries. Mr. Stephen Pratt. Call Miss Janet Adams Smith. Mr. Noel Allen. Mr. Hector Hetherington. Mr. Hetherington, you are editor of the Manchester Guardian and a member of the Royal Commission on the Police. Would you tell us what you would say is the theme or meaning of Lady Chatterley's Lover?
Well, the importance of the book to me
was as an exposition of the beauty and goodness of physical love at its best. Of the redeeming power of sex and the importance of tenderness.
Thank you.
No questions.
Mr. Gardiner, it is in my mind that the jury might be wondering how much longer this is going to go on. How many more witnesses may we expect?
My lord, I intend to call no witnesses.
Mr. Gardiner?
My lord, I have another 36 witnesses waiting to testify to the merit of Lady Chatterley's lover. But in view of my learned friend's indication that there will be no witnesses for the prosecution, I propose to call only one more witness. Call Miss Bernardine Wall. Miss Wall, you've just come down from Cambridge.
That's right.
And you're writing a novel yourself, I gather.
Yes.
And you've read Lady Chatterley's Lover?
Yes, I read it first in an expurgated edition, then more recently as Lawrence wrote it.
And what's your opinion of the unexpurgated version?
It was much better. It gave a positive contrast. The love affair contrasted with the deadness of the industrial society he was describing. It held out a hope that this was not all, that there was some way out of this drab daily existence.
Thank you. Now, as to the four-letter words in this book, had you known them before you read the book?
Yes, of course.
From what sort of age?
My lord, what has this to do with the literary merit of the book?
Very little, I should think.
My lord, I'll withdraw the question.
And while I'm on my feet, my lord, might I ask whether anybody who has just come down from Cambridge can be tendered as a literary expert?
She has started to write a novel.
So she has, my lord. I suppose we must all start somewhere.
Carry on, Mr. Gardiner.
From the point of view of literary merit, how would you say does this book compare with others you have read in its treatment of human relations, including sexual relations?
It treats that relationship with great dignity. More so, I think, than any other novel I have ever read.
Thank you, Miss Wall.
No questions.
Fucking. That was a lovely fuck. I love your cock in my cunt. Go on. Now you say something.
I love the feel of your...
Go on.
Cunt round my cock. No, I don't like it. I mean, I like it, but I don't like saying it out loud like that. It's like talking dirty.
What's wrong with talking dirty?
But you don't normally use words like that.
Yes, you're right. But I can with you.
Why's that then? Because I'm a bit of rough.
You're not a bit of rough, Keith. I think you're rather more respectable than me. What I meant was, this is our own little world here. And we can say what we like.
Yeah. I suppose so.
I know it's not easy to say those words. But it felt all right just then. It felt truthful. And I think D.H. Lawrence would have thoroughly approved of me. And you must have liked it.
Tell you the truth, I was a bit shocked to hear that from a woman.
You were, weren't you? You're so sweet. What? What's the matter?
I don't like being patronised, that's what's the matter.
I wasn't, truly.
You don't think me's an equal. That's why it's all so easy for you.
Well, at least you're going to sulk.
I'm not sulking, I'm just saying what's true. This is all a game for you. I'm just an amusement to you. And when jury service is over, that's it. Off you'll go. Never a backward look.
What was your plan? To dedicate the rest of your life to me? You're the one who's married after all. Do you want to stop this now? Because you can if you like.
No, I don't want to stop.
Then let me say what I was going to say just now. These times with you, they've been the best times I've had since... I don't know when. You make me happy. I love making love with you.
Fucking?
Yes, fucking.
Yeah. You're right, that's what it is. I call it anything else. Fucking... cock, cunt. You know what? You got a wonderful cunt.
I think it's probably quite an ordinary cunt. But it's all for you.
This week?
This week for certain. After that, who knows? I think we should make the most of it. Don't you?
She made me feel like a god or something. When we were in her little flat, felt like we had the whole world in there. Funny thing was, it didn't make me go off Sylvia or nothing. I felt so happy. Strong, confident. I thought, what's wrong with a man having two women?
Well, we really do have a mixed jury tonight, so let's have the first report.
What are you looking at? See anything you like?
Yeah.
Want to do anything about it?
Yeah. Don't mind if I do.
It's not 9 o'clock yet.
Don't care.
Neither do I then.
Get this.
No, I'll be cold.
No, you won't. Nice, that is. And this is nice. And this is...
Hey, I don't like that. No, leave off, Keith.
What is it? I can't sort it.
Don't touch me, you bastard.
Oh, so what's the matter? You can tell
You know what's the matter?
What?
You've got another woman, haven't you?
How could I have another woman?
I don't know, but you have, haven't you? You've got another woman and you do that with her.
Don't cry.
Get off me. It's true, isn't it? It's true.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, Christ, look.
I don't want to know anything about it. I don't want to know anything about her. You can go to her if you like. Just leave me alone, that's all.
Members of the jury, this case has lasted several days, and you've listened to a great deal of evidence and argument with great patience and close attention. You've heard a great number of witnesses testify to the merit of this book, and not one of them has thought it liable to deprave or corrupt. And what has the prosecution produced? Not one single witness could be found to come to court to say anything against Lawrence or his book. The prosecution has made a point of reminding you that this is a book published at 3 and 6pence, and thus affordable to anybody. There is the suggestion that it might be all right if it were published as an expensive, limited edition, not for the common man or woman. My learned friend asks, is it a book you would even wish your wife or your servants to read? Now, I don't wish to upset the prosecution by suggesting that there are nowadays some people who, as a matter of fact, don't have servants. But isn't everybody, whether earning £10 a week or £20 a week, equally interested in the society in which we live? And equally involved in the problems of relationships, including sexual relationships? And shouldn't wives be allowed to read about these things as well as their husbands? And isn't it time we rescued Lawrence's name from the quite unfair reputation it has had, and allow our people, his people, to judge for themselves? Members of the jury, I leave Lawrence's reputation and the reputation of Penguin Books in your hands.
Members of the jury, as you will now know, this case is one of immense importance with huge and far-reaching consequences. In a matter of such gravity, I do not propose to waste your time by answering debating points. It is easy enough to poke fun at the prosecution, especially in a case of this kind, but I am not going to refer to any such matters. Now, my learned friend has examined a number of witnesses in support of the book. Who have we had? Bishops, prebendaries, other clergymen, school teachers, a fashion editor, even a young girl who has just started her first novel. All of them under the guise of literary experts. I know that you will not be browbeaten by evidence given by these people. You will judge this as ordinary people, with your feet firmly on the ground, reading this book and judging it according to your own standards of morality. And there must be standards, must there not? There must be some restraint, or the floodgates will open. A book of moral purpose, one witness called it. What moral purpose? If your husband cannot satisfy you, go and copulate with other men until you find someone who can. Isn't that what a young person reading the book would take from it? Remember that you, and you alone, are the sole judge of the facts in this case. And in this context, I would ask your forgiveness for referring you to a passage on page 246. It is a passage that has not previously been referred to during this trial. It is that passage which describes what is called the night of sensual passion. It was a night of sensual passion in which she was a little startled and almost unwilling. Though a little frightened, she let him have his way. Not very easy, you know, to know what he is driving at in that passage. And the reckless, shameless sensuality shook her to her foundations, stripped her to the very last, and made a different woman of her. Burning out the shames, the deepest, oldest shames in the most secret places. It cost her an effort to let him have his way and his will of her. One wonders why, with all the experiences that had gone before. It took some getting at the core of the physical jungle, the last and deepest recess of organic shame. I don't know. Is this stuff having a good influence on the young reader? Members of the jury, do you not think that this book has a completely false conception of what proper thought and conduct ought to be, in a time when some proper conception is so badly needed? I submit to you that there can be but one answer.
Members of the jury, we are approaching the end of this case, to which you've listened with the greatest care and attention. I propose that we adjourn until tomorrow, when I will sum up the evidence and you will retire and consider your verdict.
All rise.
Let off a bit early today, then.
Yeah, time off for good behaviour.
See you in the morning.
Righto.
What's the matter?
See that? All right for some, eh?
quite surprised at Griffith Jones today. The night of sensual passion.
I didn't get what he was on about.
Really, didn't you?
I didn't get it.
He was talking about buggery, Keith.
Was he? That's what homos do, isn't it?
Well, not just homos, actually.
Bloody hell. What do you mean you?
Well, it was something Ray was rather keen on. I didn't actually care for it very much.
Bloody hell. Is that against the law?
What's wrong?
Sylvia knows.
You told her?
She just thought I knew. I couldn't deny it. I've never been any good at telling lies.
No. What did you tell her about me?
Nothing. She didn't want to know anything. She was all upset.
That's why you nearly didn't come today.
Yeah.
But you did come.
I couldn't help myself.
Well, since you are here... I want you to. I want us to do everything they did. I want to give you everything she gave him. I want you to give me everything he gave her. She had to be a passive, consenting thing. Like a
slave. A physical slave.
There. Yet the passion licked round her, consuming. And when the sensual flame
of it pressed through her bowels and breast,
she really thought she was dying.
She often
wondered what Abelard meant when he said that in their year of love, he and Heloise had passed through all the
stages and refinements of passion. She felt now
she had come to the real bedrock of
her nature.
And was essentially shameless. Stay with me. Please.
In a bleak warehouse near London Airport, tens of thousands of copies of Lady Chatterley's Lover are being packaged up and made ready for delivery. It's in the hands of the jury. Will they go on sale or be pulped?
Members of the jury, you are the sole judges of the facts. As we all know these days, the world seems to be full of experts. But our criminal law is based on the view that the jury takes of the facts. and not the view that the experts say you should take. You've got to look at the book as a book that you yourselves might have bought for 3 shillings and 6pence at a bookstall, and then you must ask yourselves the question, does it tend to deprave and corrupt? Now, you've been told that it is a moral tract and a book Christians should read. But what do you think? What is the story? A woman has sexual intercourse before she is married, and then after she is married, commits adultery with someone called Michaelis, and then proceeds to have adulterous intercourse with her husband's gamekeeper. And that is described, you may think, in the most lurid way. If you have any reasonable doubt whether it has been proved to your satisfaction that the tendency of the book is to deprave and corrupt morals, of course you will acquit. On the other hand, if you are satisfied that the book does have a tendency to deprave and corrupt, of course you will not hesitate to say so. Now, a vast number of witnesses have been called, but you are not governed by the opinions they have expressed. You are the judges of the matter. You might think that some of them proceeded on the basis, this is a book by Lawrence, therefore this is a good book. You must make up your own minds about that. So, if you'll be kind enough to retire and consider your verdict and tell me how you find.
All rise.
Well, who'd like to start us off?
Well, I'd say guilty. If that's not a dirty book, I don't know what is. I mean, a laugh's a laugh, but I don't mind saying that at times I found it quite shocking in parts.
And as to literary merit?
Well, I don't think it's all that clever sticking those 4-letter words in. My dad used to say, swearing is a sign of an impoverished vocabulary.
I agree with him. I think it should be banned. The judge seemed to think that we should return a guilty verdict.
He also said we didn't have to follow his opinion.
True. It's interesting that the prosecution didn't call any expert witnesses.
Well, it didn't need any. Well, it's like the judge said.
I think it's rather more likely that they couldn't find any. You think it should be banned? Do you really think that it might deprave or corrupt anybody? That's what's the point. It should be banned on grounds of public decency. It's exactly as the prosecution put it. Publish this and you've opened the floodgates. You've opened the way for any kind of filthy rubbish. We'd be poisoning the minds of our own children and generations to follow. Is this what we want the 1960s to be? And is this what we fought 2 world wars for? The freedom to publish dirty books?
But this isn't a dirty book. There's nothing dirty about sex. It's natural, isn't it? And I don't like the idea of anyone telling me what I'm allowed to read and not allowed to read. And I don't want to be the one to tell anyone else, except my own kids. And they're grown up now anyway, and they can choose for themselves. Because that's what we're here for, isn't it? To say if other people can read it. Well, it hasn't done any of us any harm, has it?
I wonder if it has.
of us think that we've been depraved or corrupted by reading Lady Chatterley's Lover?
But who'd answer yes to a question like that?
That is the question we are asked to answer. And perhaps the best way to answer it is to ask ourselves, have I been depraved or corrupted by this book? We've been picked at random, 12 ordinary men and women. If the book has a tendency to deprave and corrupt, then it's likely, isn't it, that it would have had that effect on us, or at least some of us. So has it?
Well, I don't know about anyone else, but I've been a bit, shook up by it. Reading this book, I feel like I might be missing out on things. Sex and that. I don't mean to say I've never had it or anything, but not like in the book. It sort of makes you think, maybe I should, sort of thing. But I don't suppose that I ever shall. Is that depraved and corrupted?
I wouldn't have thought so.
Oh, wouldn't you? I think our friend here has put his finger on something. What it is this. The man who wrote this book is saying sex is everything, and any kind of behavior is justified in the search for sex, sex, and more sex. He's saying it's perfectly fine for women to behave like whores before marriage, and in marriage it's perfectly fine to hold your marriage vows with contempt, all for the sake of sex. And he's telling us that we should indulge and satisfy our appetites like farmyard animals. Now, if that isn't depraving and corrupting, then I don't know what is.
All he's doing is asking us to think about our lives.
And what result has that had in your case, may I ask? Or perhaps I don't need to ask.
I wouldn't say I'd been depraved or corrupted by Lady Chatterley's Lover. But I would say that I'd been affected by it. But that's not a bad thing, that's a good thing, isn't it? He's challenging us to look at our lives. He's saying that some things are so special, they're worth sacrificing anything for. And sex, really good sex, is such a strong thing. It just smashes up your whole life and puts it together in a different way. And if you find that passion and tenderness for someone, you have to follow it.